Welcome to Learning Bites. We're looking at principles, and I want to discuss one of my favorite principles, and that is the power of words. Understanding the power of words. This has been reiterated to me personally many times. It's very humbling, but it's also quite jarring in terms of being very careful around how I use words. Quite often I'll have people coming up to me and say, "Oh, do you remember when you said this to me? Or do you remember when you spoke about that? Or do you remember when you talked this or you taught that?" They go, "That changed my life." And I go, "Wow, I'm so delighted. I'm humbled to hear that." But most often I don't actually remember saying those things. It's highly likely that you've had that experience yourself, either having had somebody say something to you that's been profound and has given you what you needed at that moment, or you've said something to somebody and they've had the same experience. Now, the reason that it's important to understand the power of words is that we don't want to be careless with our words. Words are so powerful. They create things. We talk things into being. And so when it comes to our work, we want to look at how do we talk to each other and about each other in the workplace. Do we have talk that builds each other up? Do we have talk that encourages people? Or are we inclined to catch people doing things wrong? To point out, "Oh, you can't do that. You're doing that wrong. You need to do that differently." In studies that they've done, for most teams, there is a high tendency to talk and to point out when stuff's not going right, to point out what's happening that's wrong. And we want to create cultures where we encourage people to do more of the right thing. We want to focus on what we want more of, because that's what we will get. And so I encourage you this week as a team to start looking at, what are you saying to each other? How do you talk to each other? Do you, in your one-on-one meetings, do you focus on what people are doing right? In your team meetings, do you do shout-outs for people who have done things right, or lived the values, or been really good at a certain job? Because if we focus on that, we're far more likely to get that. And when we expect people to speak well and to think before they talk, and to consider the other person, what we create is an environment of respect, an environment where people feel safe, an environment where people know that people will tell them what they need to hear, but do it in a way that is easy to understand. They can be clear and direct, but with care. And as we create that culture internally, it gets reflected externally. Remember that our internal culture creates our external customer experience. The way we treat our team is the way they treat our customers. You see, our language creates our culture, and our culture creates our language. And it becomes a self-fulfilling thing. The more you talk about something and the more you focus on the way you say things and the way you treat people, the more you're going to see that happening with others around you. The ripple effect will be there. Think about that this week. Watch what you do, and here's to your success. If any of this resonated with you and you'd like some help with it, do feel free to get in touch. Drop me an email at mike@thinkright.co.nz or 0272 987 523, or our website www.thinkright.co.nz.